Hi, I'm Betty Banjack, and today I have a very special guest. It's Karen Shanoski, and Karen and I have known each other for a real long time, a real long time, and but she's going to do something very different today. I mean, I think it's different. I think it's great to know how to do this too. She's going to make, what did you call it?
Baby food.
It's baby food, no matter what we want to call it. Processed
Pureed foods.
Yeah, and Karen's done this, has two sons, and I think she fed them through this process of making her own, and they're grown now, so I don't think they're into baby food. Are
No,
they?
no, not anymore.
What I heard, they're grown. But she wants to share it with you and see how easy it is, and maybe you don't have so many preservatives and all that stuff in what you make, and it tastes better than baby food. I don't know. I understand sugar in baby food, babies like that. So
Maybe.
I'm going to let her start.
Well, thank you, Betty. When we talked about this, the reason I guess I suggested baby foods is it's one of the foods that I made that I felt the best about. I felt like I was doing something good for my children, and I was making economical use of resources, and it just made me feel good.
There's no baby T-bone steaks?
No. No. And so anyway, but I felt a little silly because I haven't done this in years and years and years, and when you said, okay, come do it, now I had to figure out how to do it again. And what I thought about too is that this is really just a puree process. And so while you can call it baby food, people who are using soft diets could also use this process. And you could have stuff like this around just in your general pantry, freezer, but just to have. You could put these cubes, and let me show you this, in soups or stews or even stuffings.
Oh, wow.
So here's our end result, and this is some split peas, and I believe this is some carrots. And typically I would freeze one food in one tray. I'm just showing an assortment here.
This is already processed. I mean,
this is already made. And then what I would do for the kids when they were little,
I think they thawed out too much.
no, is I would take a cube. If I could do this, I'm going to make a big mess.
How'd you hear?
Take a cube and put it in a little container, or I had those little Tupperware, with the several containers, and I put little foods on and send them off to daycare with their foods. When babies are just starting to eat foods, they only eat one food. You try it for a week, and then another food, and try it for a week, and so on. So that this is also good because it is just a single ingredient. I don't use any flavorings. But if you were using this for a soft food diet, you would season it as you're allowed to. Like if you're on low salt, of course, you would keep the salt low and so on.
They don't know that it's not seasoned? They don't have too much of a palate, is that it?
I don't know. I'm not an expert on that, but I just know that it's good for them, and it's palatable.
I would like carrots.
Yeah, and it's very flavorful, actually. Yeah, I'll just grab it. So let's get started with using some split peas, and it's best to use fresh foods when you're making these things. I have carrots here and a yam, but dried peas and lentils and so on work very well. And just general information, typically about a cup, and I'll actually try to measure here, although in life I rarely measure. About a cup of dried beans equals about 2 cups of cooked beans. When you're using dried
I'll get it.
beans, okay, sorry about that.
I'll clean up.
Good. When you use dried products, you need to
I'm going to put them right in there.
you need to wash them.
You need water.
You need water. You need to have a spout. You're supposed to wash them. You can cook dried beans, and then you pick out what you think might be stones or
Why is there stones in beans?
ugly beans. It says on the back of the package
What does it say on the back of the package?
that despite modern cleaning techniques, some stones, etc., escape their process, and so you should check on your own.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think it looks fine. There's some shells on some of the peas. I'm not too worried about it.
It's strange.
You can soak beans. You can soak them overnight. Just put them in cold water. You can heat them like to boiling for a few minutes and then just sit them aside for 2 hours. Or what we're going to do today is you can pressure cook.
Pressure cooker. I haven't seen a pressure cooker in ages. This is
Yeah,
a great one.
and
I
this
like
is
the
an old
size
one.
of this one.
This is old, and this is probably about the only use it's had.
That's the only thing you make in there, huh?
So it's been in the closet for many years. But it's interesting because you can do a lot of cooking with a pressure cooker.
I was going to say, even if you don't use the pressure gauge on it, because I was growing up, everyone was afraid of, oh, I'm going to blow my kitchen up, and they didn't want to use it. But even if you don't use the pressure gauge, wherever it is, and you just cook vegetables in this regular way, it cooks much faster and much better.
I think the microwave kind of replaced the need for this in a lot.
Oh,
Again,
wow.
I don't usually measure stuff, but I'm trying to be good here.
Microwave, why? Why are you trying to be good? Hey,
You're
we're
gonna
hand
use-
pressing.
Well, if
Karen's
somebody
on the
wanted to
school
try to
board.
do
Karen's on
this,
the, school
it's only
board
fair
here,
to tell them
a
how to do it.
director, and someone will
You
say
have
something
about
to her.
have about a cup of peas, so you use about 3 to 4 times the amount of water
Okay.
that you do of the peas or lentils or
Now,
whatever.
is this going to get done in time?
Yeah,
I'm impressed.
we hope. We can all hope. Okay, these things have a rubber seal, and then you seal them in place, and you put the little
You know, you're
topper.
right. The microwave has. Do you want this on?
Yes, could you turn that on, please?
Sure. My job here, as everyone knows.
Okay. And so we're going to let that get going. We're going to start with another
How
product.
will we know when it's done?
When this piece raises, I would never put my hand there at that point, but this little thing's going to pop up, and that's going to let us know that it's reached like the boiling or steaming temperature. And then pretty soon we're going to see this
Wiggle?
sizzling. And I'm going to turn the heat off, or you'll turn the heat off at that point, and then we'll let it sit. Typically 10 minutes.
For everything?
At the 10 minutes until this will be done.
Oh. I'm
now-
going to time it.
Okay, do that, because I did bring a timer.
Oh, well, then you don't have to.
But I'm going to turn it on when we get that pop up, okay?
Okay.
Lentils are also dried beans, and I brought orange lentils, and these are brownish lentils. They're also green lentils, and they have little variations in
I like
flavor.
the orange ones. They look like carrots to me from here.
They are so easy to cook. You can use a pressure cooker, but they cook very quickly. You could
wanna
just
get
put,
that- Can you get that bag?
sure, you could just
The
put
orange
a
one.
little in the bottom of a pot with some water, cook them for a couple minutes, boil, and then you can make cold salads with them with some
Oh, yeah.
lemon. and
I've had that.
you can do a lot of things with lentils. They're very, very useful, and also bland, but babies
Soup?
eat them. Put them in soups, etc.
I'm interested in this because I teach a cooking class where we're talking about making a luncheon. And I thought this would make good salad base.
Okay, so what we're going to do is basically cook the food, clean it, wash it, cook the food, and then we're going to mash puree it, and then we're going to put it in cubes, ice cube trays, and freeze it, and then you use it. Okay?
Question. The food processor you have, can you do it with anything less, like a blender, which isn't as powerful? Or should you have a
You
food processor?
Probably, yeah, a blender. You can actually use a food mill, which we'll use
Okay,
for
yeah.
the applesauce. There are also products you can buy to make baby foods.
Oh,
Or other
okay.
pureed foods, all right? While we're waiting for this to cook, I thought we'd cook some applesauce. This is
Okay.
also very easy, and you could do this for any meal you'd like. And this is about a bag of apples. This is about 2.5 pounds. I do not add, when I cook, my family probably doesn't like me that much.
Is this
I
gonna
don't
go
add
in there
sugar. No, we're
ultimately?
just going to
Oh.
boil that.
Oh.
I don't usually add sugar, but I checked a recipe, and typically you can add about a half cup, that's a half cup of sugar, to this 2.5 pounds, or about 11, 12 apples. And you can add a little bit of lemon if you like, or a little bit of cinnamon or nutmeg. I
This
just
is
usually
11
cook
apples.
these. Just cook
I
them
count too.
and mill. So we'll see how that goes. You want to help cook?
Okay, what are we doing?
We're just going to chop them up, and we're not going to peel them. We're not going to.
We're going to take the center out?
You don't have to.
Oh, that's right, because it's a mill.
Right. Just kind of make the pieces about an even size.
Oh,
What do you think? Maybe about
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
okay.
They'll cook. The smaller you cut them, the faster they'll cook. And we'll
This
see
is-
how.
I like this. You don't have to peel and.
No, I mean, if you're in the mood, you want to chop a little of the thing off, that's fine. But
I did a
you
lot
really don't have
of
to.
Oriental cooking where after a while it gets to be a bit much because you have to chop and it's nothing to cook it. It's to
Yeah.
getting it ready.
Yeah. Now, I will get rid of the stem there.
You know
because
what?
That's too big.
For the sake of time, maybe we shouldn't
Just-
put all, just
Yeah,
a
let's
little
just
bit.
do a little bit. Let's do one more.
One more?
Well, finish this
This
one up
one.
if you don't mind.
Sure, that's my job to help.
That's your job. Good. We'll get rid of the rest of these.
Karen, speaking of
Oops.
jobs, you have it's a vacation day, you told me.
Yeah.
And where do you work or work?
I work with the Center for Schools and Communities, and I provide some support and assistance to organizations that,
What did you
have,
do?
that's probably plenty one,
What did you do?
that have grants with the state to provide services to families. I meant to put just a little bit of water, and I think
Not a lot.
that's not a lot. It just cover the base.
Uh-huh.
Apples have a lot of water in them, so
Yeah.
you don't want too much. Actually, I'm a little concerned that is too much, so we'll just get rid of some of that.
Oh,
I
you
just
did
want
put more in
enough
there
to
than it
cover
looked
the
like.
bottom.
You want this?
Please turn that on.
Sure.
Oh, good. That's good. Now that one, because this one we're not going to touch, we're not going to stir. This one we will stir and make sure that it's not sticking, especially at the beginning before the moisture starts coming out of the apples. This will take a couple minutes, maybe 10, 15.
We
I
don't
made
have a
this.
lot of minutes.
I made applesauce, another mother and I, for second graders
Oh,
as their Halloween treat instead of a big
That's how
party. We made a big pot, and all the kids could help cut things. You can even use regular butter knives to cut up the apples, and they all enjoyed it. They had a
but how
chance.
much? I know you enjoyed it and the mothers enjoyed it. How much did the kids enjoy it?
They
Not
did,
having
and they ate it.
Halloween candy.
Oh well, we had candy
You
too.
gave them some Halloween
Yeah,
candy, right?
yeah, and they had their costumes and whatever. It was a fun party, but it was kind of took it into the realm of a fall festival,
Okay.
and that was fun. That was fun.
So what are we doing now?
So let's see. Pressure cookers, you mentioned people are scared of them. There's reason to be.
Yeah, they blow up.
This is it's cooking under a lot of pressure, and once the pressure starts, then you have to just let it slow down on its own. You turn the heat off. You'd never open it at certain phases here, and so you do have to be careful, although it's not likely to explode in most people's houses.
I know people can under pressure, the bigger pressure cookers where they can put the bottles in and they take it up and down and everything else.
Right.
So,
Another product you can make, carrots.
you like carrots?
I like to cut them up fairly small. Again, you're going to put probably, an inch or so of water
You're
in
going to cover
there.
it with water.
Because this is a lot harder than an apple, and there's not as much moisture in it. So if you would cook that for several minutes, maybe even, let it boil for 10 or 15 minutes.
You're
And
making mush. Oh, you're going to.
because you're making mush, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
so
what you're
it's
making mushy
mushier than when you're just trying to serve it, like in an al dente style. You want it mushier than that.
That's very controversial about what degree of
Oh,
doneness people like their fruits and vegetables.
another food that's easy to cook is a yam, this is a yam, but you can use sweet potatoes or even regular potatoes. I've enjoyed using the microwave for these. You just pierce.
We don't have a microwave, people.
We don't have a microwave. You pierce a lot of holes in it. Ooh, see, this is starting to cook already. Betty, I'm not
smells
as tall
good.
as you. Can't see what I'm doing.
That's like apple candy.
Yeah.
Did you burn it?
No, not yet. I am famous for burning, but not yet. Anyway, pierce this, stick it in the microwave. Some microwaves actually say potato.
Yeah, they're great. That's a great one.
I actually looked this up in a cookbook.
Oh.
About 10 to 12 minutes is probably the most you would have to cook it in a microwave.
It's the ones that they tell you push the potato thing. It's never, I always say like 5 minutes at most. I don't know, they must cook under a different type of heating in there. But they're wonderful for microwaves. I don't have a potato setting on mine now, but I have popcorn and beverages. And, do you know what I saw in the market last night? Instead of those big bags where you get or boxes with 3 bags of popcorn, you now can get mini popcorn bags with 4 or 5 bags in it. And that way you don't have to, when you do a big bag of popcorn, they're half gone. Well, you can't waste it. No. You got to throw it away.
You have to eat it
You
all.
have to eat it. So this way it's really cute. They're these little bags of miniature popcorn, and I was impressed with that.
Nice.
I'm easily impressed with stuff like that.
Something you can do with potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, when you take it out of the microwave is wrap it in a towel or hot pad or a foil. And that keeps it cooking a little bit longer, makes it a little softer. Obviously, you can bake this in an oven. You can do lots of things.
That
the
would
point
take a long
is,
time in the oven.
Yeah, it would. So that's why the microwave. So you cut off the ends, okay? You're going to scoop this stuff. Now that I poured water in here, we can't do this, and because it's not cooked. But what I found was very easy to do was I scooped the meat out of this, or the vegetable out of that, I should say, and I just mashed it. I did not add milk. I did not add water. It's just soft enough to mash up, and then put it in the trays.
I usually like a little salt. Not a lot, just a little salt on the vegetables. Salt. That little oomph you need. Karen, you're still involved with Family Celebration?
Yes.
How many years is it now?
Oh my goodness.
15, 16?
Yeah.
That long? That's how long we've known each other to it started out.
Well, this is cooking a lot faster than those peas.
Well, it's that butane. That's because it's the butane burners, but the 2 butane burners. Go down with it. Go down.
Down to make it hotter?
Yeah, that's...
I may have been too
Okay,
much
well, we can work on that first.
I think we can. I think your idea of putting less in here is good. It's obviously cooking very quickly. And I think we'll just do this. Off. Up.
Will you turn it off?
Yeah.
Or you want it on?
Nope, we're going to take this off. And we're going to use
I didn't know which way you wanted it, that's all. I'm thinking when I get some of these lentils, especially the red lentils, they're not orange. They're
pretty.
But they would be pretty with these greenish looking ones for the holidays.
This is a small enough batch. I think I'm just going to...
Oh, they smell great, the apples.
Dump them all in here. Now, this is Food Mill is also somewhat old product.
Oh, that's one of those mills.
And so we're just going to keep going around
We
and around.
make noodles in one. Well, I think it might be a little different, but it looks like that. But the Germans do that too, and the Hungarians make these things called nukedli. And if you were like my mom, she can take a spoon and just dip, the water, and she's okay. There's not too many of them left, and we just use one of these, and it makes nice little drops of dough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you could do that in there. There's little holes. Yeah.
So what you're doing is just mashing this food through a sieve, and all the seeds and the peel.
Oh, that's a nice part.
Stay
That's
here.
Like tomatoes. This is great for tomatoes because
Okay.
you don't have all that.
There we see
Oh,
it's
the
boiling.
steam. The
So
steam.
now, where's that timer?
What are you looking for?
Where's that timer?
Oh, where's the timer? I don't know.
Here we go.
There it is. You hid. That's a cute little timer.
We'll try that.
I noticed you put it on your belt, and that's good because sometimes when you have a little timer
It's cool.
and you leave the room,
You can't hear it.
It's done, and you're still out of the room.
Okay, so we left some stems, we left seeds, we
But
left
why
peel.
did it stop steaming?
I don't know. Hopefully it's fine. So
That's
all. We're going to throw this away or compost it because
You compost?
we did not add any sugar or anything else. This is just raw food. You can compost the remains here.
Have you compost?
Yes. Yes,
do
yes,
you?
yes. Yes.
You sort of live out now, in the suburbs, West Norton.
Out in the suburbs. Yeah, we compost because we live in the suburbs.
Well,
The other
considering
thing.
you lived downtown in
I
Norristown,
did.
and
We
I
lived
did
on
too.
Markley
We live in the
Street.
country now.
We do. It is kind of funny. My kids still complain. We moved 3 years ago, and we used to live on Markley Street, which of course has a lot of traffic, and around Freedley was a fire station, and we moved out to the suburbs, and they're upset about not having enough noise. The
Oh, are
traffic
they?
noise is something that they miss. That was their
It
lullaby.
is quiet in that area.
Okay, back to cooking. The fact that we left the peels on have created a nice pretty color here,
Pretty.
so that you actually have a pinkish applesauce. Now, if you wanted to peel them, yes, you may. If you wanted to peel them, you wouldn't have that pink color.
I don't care. Take it. There's nothing in it, right?
Nothing in it. Do you think
it's
you
good.
need to add anything?
No, I wouldn't think I needed
See,
to add anything. though. I'm into-
Macintosh apples especially, I think, you don't need to add a bit of
I'm
sugar.
definitely making some soon. I mean, there's
Now, we can serve some of this to some of our helpers later.
Okay,
But
yeah, we'll
just
do that
to
later.
show everybody, then
that she's
you just
putting it
kind
in the
of
tray.
ladle it in here.
What I'm looking
And-
for is
I would cover this up and put it in the freezer. And then at some later date, pop it out.
and you could pop them out and put them in a bag, and then make more if you wanted to.
Then you'd have all the cubes, right?
Because this is pulpy like it is. Would you? Does it freeze through?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Sometimes things get
Oh,
slushy instead of frozen.
No, it freezes.
I can
It
take
freezes.
this over
If you
here.
would, please, that would be good.
Now where are we? Where is this done?
Where are we? Almost. Not
I
quite.
hope.
Not quite. Let me get rid of this as a trash item.
Trash.
Well, compost. My orange, my
She's wonderful. She just came with everything out of her kitchen.
carrot peels are in there.
Okay.
I'm
are
trying to
we
think.
into here yet? We
Almost.
have to be.
How are we doing time-wise?
We have to be into the lentils.
We're getting, in the
Peas,
meantime,
peas, whatever. Oh, she brought her books
I
with her.
have these ancient books, Recipes for a Small Planet and Feed Me, I'm Yours.
Tell you how old these books are. Tell them the price on that little book.
This one was $2.95. This would now easily be a $6 or $8 purchase, I'm
It's
sure.
amazing.
And the pages are yellowed too. But if you did want to check and you seriously wanted to make these foods, particularly for children, Vicki Lansky, this is a very well researched book. And she explains step by step how to puree and what kinds of foods to avoid for children and so on. And this was just good because it gave some good measurements. Told me about
Let's
lentils.
go to the peas before we run out of time.
Okay.
Then we can talk about measurements.
Well, I think we're going to turn this off then.
Okay.
It's starting to sizzle up there.
Off.
This is a little premature. Probably it would cook a little bit longer. We'll see how well it does.
Well, we've all eaten raw food. Usually.
We have to wait till the topper goes down. This little, there must be a technical name for that, Betty. What do you think it is?
I have no idea. This thing?
No, the little.
Oh, the little thing. That's a
it's like
pressure
a turkey.
reliever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Papa.
what you shouldn't do
That's what she's doing, probably.
is play with that. But that's where
That's
all
when
the
it can
steam is
blow?
coming. That would be the
There's a real
problem.
nice light up here, you know?
So the heat's off. It'll be another couple moments, and that should be ready to go. And we'll put that in the food processor and mash that stuff up and have it ready.
How
for
long
the
does it
ice
take for that
cubes.
to fall down?
When I tried this on Saturday,
Yeah.
the whole thing took about 10, 15 minutes.
If you sit
And
here
so
and stare at it, will it not go
No,
down?
a watched pot never.
Yeah, I watched. I know.
The nice thing about this too is that you can make up, say you have a Saturday afternoon, or a Sunday afternoon, or even some evening. This whole process really, I think, from start to finish can take less than a half hour, and you can make up several trays. And if you want to cook a few things concurrently, you know, you can do that. You just keep paying attention
Is
to
it
the timing.
done?
Is it? Are you impatient?
Sure. What makes you think that things changed over the years? Always impatient.
Okay.
Well, we could, what do you want to talk about?
What got you into this? This cooking show. This is so interesting.
Well, actually, many Christmases, about 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I decided to write a cookbook for my family.
Uh-huh.
And then I decided, well, I wasn't going to put it together by Xeroxing it and stapling it. I was going to do it professionally. And it just went from there. That's really what it went from. That to 3 years at another station, 4 years here at the high school.
Amazing.
So
I know people
that's how I
enjoy
got into
watching.
it. I like it when other people cook. Oh, come on, go down. We need you.
What I want to do is take this off.
I'll do it.
So we'll just release the pressure a little more quickly this way. There's a lot of pressure in there. So it really would not be a good idea just to...
Okay, we won't do it. We'll sit here and watch it some more. But we're almost out of time. That's why I want to...
Oh, are we really?
But don't do anything stupid.
Okay.
She did it stupid.
Well, we'll see
Isn't this exciting? It's the 4th of July, and all I can say is,
what a mess.
Karen, you did it up well. When you come back, I just want to, give me a thing that has a,
Go ahead.
it's not so porous.
There we go. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
That will
Listen,
release the pressure. We're going to open it up in
no,
just
we're
a
not going
second.
to open it because we have to go.
I thought we had 5 more minutes.
No, we don't have 5 more minutes.
Okay.
But, so what you're going to do, you're going to put it in there,
Yes.
and you're going to puree.
Takes a few moments to puree
you make sure
it.
you don't do this.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do this at all. And you do that, the peas in there,
Uh-huh.
and then you can serve them.
It's still up. Sorry.
Oh, I think it was spectacular.
I
It's the most
think
exciting
we're
thing that
not
ever
gonna be
happened
able-
on this show.
See, look, and the timer's ready.
Look, yeah, and the timer says it's ready.
Well, at least we
have to
can make the
go.
applesauce, and we'll do the peas another time. Finish up
Okay,
the
yeah, we'll
peas
do
another
this
time.
another time. This is a lot of fun. I
You
never
know
had
what
so
the
much fun in
result-
ages. So thank you very much, Karen. Thank you for the spectacular display that we got today.
This would be illegal probably to show this.
Okay, listen, this is Betty Banjack and Karen Shanoski for Look Who's Cooking. We'll see you real soon.
I thought he said the wind-up was fine.